Hey there, folks. Thanks so much for joining us here on Wave Now. I'm Myra Ansari with troubleshooter Mark Stevens. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So Mark has a investigation that's coming up for us today on Wave News at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And it's about a company that a lot of folks turn to because they're in the smoking of meats,
barbecue business.
Yeah. But they didn't get what they were hoping for.
No, a lot of people didn't get anything at all. So this was another troubleshooter hotline complaint. So keep those coming in, super helpful. That actually came from Fort Wayne.
Oh.
So out of the area, but it was Clean Bone Barbecue up there. Reached out saying, "Hey, we ordered this this smoker trailer back in, I think they were June of last year. We haven't got it. We can't get any straight answer. Sometimes we can't even communicate with the owner. And this is in your area, you should do a story. What can you figure out?"
Okay. So these are smokers, not like the kind that you probably have as an individual in your backyard, like commercial.
Yeah, most of the products that this company is making are these large trailer mounted smokers. It's meant for, people who are in the professional kind of business.
Okay.
Although he does also make what he calls backyard smokers. And then some other customers I interviewed of his who didn't buy smokers. They were just buying trailers.
Okay.
Just like flatbed trailers.
Oh, okay.
So this company does more than just smokers, but it's all, really, I was hearing a lot from barbecue companies.
So these smokers are not cheap. They're very expensive.
Yeah, thousands of dollars.
Tell me about that.
So the company, so the trailer you were showing there a minute ago, that cost Zach Utley $10,000.
Whoa.
And it's, as he was showing me, it's missing a lot of what he paid for. Some of it is cooking related. He said the smoker itself didn't have any thermometers in it.
Okay.
But then, he has a sink, but it's in a box. It was supposed to be mounted to the trailer, and he's missing a flat top griddle. But the trailer itself, he said, didn't have trailer brakes installed that he paid for. The actual wiring for the lights. That wasn't actually hooked up. So he's got a lot of issues, but he just took the trailer because he had actually ordered in 2023. So he's been waiting so long. He said, "I'm just gonna take whatever I can get and figure out what to go from there."
Okay. So this company that you investigated, where are they based out of?
He is in Nab, Indiana, Southern Smokers LLC.
Okay. Which is how far from here?
It takes me about an hour, but it's just up the road. Going through Charlestown on the way to Madison.
Okay.
So
a lot of folks came forward and say, you know what, I've put in an order with this guy too, and where is my finished product? They were left high and dry.
Yeah, because many of the complaints from people I interviewed, and I interviewed, people locally, but it was all over the state. So like Fort Wayne, and then Zach is here in Jefferson County, Kentucky. I talked to a gentleman who just wanted a trailer for his antique car. He's over in Shelby County. Interviewed a company in Paducah. They wanted a flatbed trailer because he does power washing, and so he was going to mount all his equipment. He had ordered a whole bunch of other stuff in Paducah to put on this trailer that was supposed to come. Never came. And people were being told, like, all right, some of the flatbed trailers, a week, maybe 2 months. The smokers, and the guy disclosed on the website, it takes some time.
Sure.
But the story that I kept hearing consistently is, once they paid, then it was impossible to get a hold of the owner.
That's sad because folks really work hard for their money. And then when you fork up like thousands of dollars and then you're left with nothing.
Right.
That's really unfortunate.
And they did, a lot of these owners did their own homework. Several visited the shop just to make sure. And, they saw some smokers that had been completed. And when they visited the shop, there were people working, things were happening. There was, raw material ready to go. I mean, you could see in some of the video we showed, you can see there's a pile of axles, that are new, that are ready to be built. So they just couldn't figure out. They're like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things in the investigation that took me a little bit, but I eventually figured it out. Southern Smokers, the owner, was using two names. So one name he'd give to people is Chris Van Meter, where I don't know where that name comes from because his actual name is Jeffrey Briscoe.
Okay.
And when I ran the case history for Jeffrey Briscoe, that's where I found a criminal record that is right on par with this particular type of business.
Okay, so you did try to get answers for folks. And, a lot of times we do have viewers reach out to us because they have tried and tried and tried and tried to get answers from whatever their issue is, and they can't. So they ask us for some help, hoping that our cameras and journalists like you can put some pressure on getting something resolved for them. You tried to go after the owners.
Yeah, I mean, I went out several times. The one time that there were people at the property, Jeff was there. He came like halfway out to the yard and, just asked who I was. And when I said, I'm Mark Stevens with Wave, he just turned around and went back into the building, and I can't yell questions through the fence and hear any answers.
Sure.
And then some other gentleman came over to me and said I was trespassing and asked me to leave.
The folks that you talked to that were victims in your story who were out thousands of dollars, they want to see this person held accountable, with the law.
Several people have told me that they filed police reports and they want to see something done as far as the police. Now, others were actually eventually able to get their products. One gentleman I interviewed, he'd ordered just a flatbed trailer, so that doesn't take as much work. But even though it was months late, he did get it at the end of April because somebody associated with Southern Smokers posted it on the Facebook account. So there seems to be some effort to show proof of the business doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay. All right. So your story is on tonight at 6:00.
Yep.
I'm going to take you to Mark's story that's up so far on our website. Let me see if I can get it up here. And you've got more details on this barbecue business. And let's look at that. But your story's airing tonight at 6 where folks can get more information. I think, it's really helpful for folks, Mark, when they feel like, what, I have gone down this road. I don't know where else to turn. And they turn to folks like you.
Yeah. I mean, there's, a lot of people did their own homework.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can understand they feel alone. They go, how could I have fallen for this?
I know.
I mean, that was really interesting because one of the guys I interviewed, he's retired military. So, he kind of had he has this air about him. I'm like, I'm assuming you don't get fooled much, do you?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And it hurts. It's personal when you feel like, how did I fall for this? How did this person do me? I worked really hard for my money and now I've got nothing. And and for a lot of these folks who were trying to purchase these smokers, this was for them to earn money.
Right. And that was one of the things. So the couple from Fort Wayne, that was what they were most frustrated with is, they put in the order with plenty of time so that the trailer would come in, they could get it. I might get this somewhat wrong, but I think inspected by the health department or get it all set up with the health department. And they were at the time, scheduling what festivals they were going to go to, in the Fort Wayne area.
Yeah.
They ended up, they had to go back into their bank account and they hired a second company when they realized we're not getting,
gotta go to
but they said basically they had invested pretty much everything they've made, in their barbecue business into this trailer.
That's so sad.
So, for a lot of people who are just trying to get things going and they're trying to advance their careers, their jobs, their businesses, it's really frustrating for them.
Absolutely.
It's a key piece of equipment. I like I like to cook with a grill, but these things, they're enormous.
Yes,
so.
and it's not your average grill.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to feed, however many, 100, 200, 300 people with a 22-inch Weber kettle.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I can feed about 6.
Well, Mark's story is going to air tonight at 6:00, and you can go for more information on it on wave3.com. Mark, is there anything I'm not asking you that you want folks to know?
No, but again, can you show them on the troubleshooter hotline link on the page?
Yes, show me how to do it. Hold on. Navigate me.
Okay, go to the homepage.
Okay. Troubleshooters?
No. So go to the homepage, and it should be, it was just
Hold on.
Let's not get this. Let's not do this live and get it wrong.
We'll get it. It's okay. All right.
Yeah, right
here
there.
we go. Okay.
So top left of the screen.
Okay.
Above the Wave logo.
Contact Troubleshooters.
Contact Troubleshooters. So, and that is that'll come straight to us.
Okay.
And we read every single one of them.
Okay. See, I don't have to navigate the website because I just turn over. Mark and I share a desk area, so I just turn over at Mark and I tell him something instead of going through the website. But it's super easy to do. Go to wave3.com, click on the top left, and submit your tip to our troubleshooters.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good stories.
All right. I'm Myra Ansari with Mark Stevens. Have a great day.